Let's talk about the female orgasm. What it is, how it works, how to have one or how to give her one, what are the best techniques, and is it even real? Stick around for the entire scoop. My name is Helena Nista and I am a sex therapist and a tantra practitioner. I make videos about great sex, about legendary pleasure, about tantra and passionate relationships. So if you'd like to learn more, make sure to browse my channel and check out my other videos. And you might even want to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get all my newest tools, tips and techniques. Female orgasm tends to be covered with a layer of mystery. A lot of men and some women wonder about it, how it works, what it is, and what are the best ways to achieve it or create it. In my own experience, the orgasm became elusive for the first 15 years of my sexual life. I could never orgasm with a partner and I really struggled with it even alone. And whenever I did manage to rub one out, the experience was very pleasurable and mainly disappointing. Fortunately, then everything changed. The term female orgasm refers to any kind of orgasmic climax that can be reached by a woman. Most women believe that they can only have clitoral orgasms, but female body is actually capable of many different types of orgasms. The orgasm itself is a release of sexual energy, of arousal. So when you're masturbating or you're having sex with your partner, you're experiencing a buildup of erotic charge in your body. When that charge reaches a critical point, the energy is released and you experience a surge of pleasure followed by a sense of release. When it comes to different types of female orgasms, there are really different schools and different classifications here, so it really depends on who you ask. But I really like the way that tantric philosophy classifies the female orgasms into the internal ones and the external ones. The external orgasms include the clitoral orgasm, which is caused by the stimulation of the clitoris, and the vaginal opening orgasm, which is caused by the stimulation of the vaginal opening. The external orgasms are typically experienced as a sort of a peak of an orgasmic experience of sexual tension. They are really strongly localized in the genital area and they last about a few seconds. After they happen, there's usually that sense of being done where the arousal starts to rapidly decrease and typically the clitoris becomes too sensitive to be stimulated again at this point. The internal orgasms, on the other hand, feel quite different. They feel much more open, relaxed and expansive. This is where women talk about full body orgasmic experiences, plus these internal orgasms can last much longer as well. Some examples of the internal orgasms are the G-spot orgasm, caused by the stimulation of the spongy tissue inside of the vagina on the upper wall, not too far behind the vaginal opening. The A-spot orgasm. The A-spot is located deeper in the vagina behind the G-spot. Cervical orgasms. Cervix is the gateway to the womb and its stimulation can induce trance-like orgasmic states. Anal orgasms. For many women, the stimulation of the anus, either externally or internally, can be extremely pleasurable and can lead to very satisfying orgasms. Nipple orgasms. Nipples are naturally very sensitive. There's a richness of nerve endings there. Not a lot of women know that they can actually experience nipple orgasms, but these are extremely pleasurable and feel like pure blissful energy is spilling out through the chest and then out into the rest of the body. You can also experience orgasms in other erogenous zones. So the types of orgasms I've mentioned already, these are considered your primary erogenous zones. However, everybody is different and unique, and you can also experience a variety of orgasmic experiences in your secondary erogenous zones. So make sure to explore them to figure out what works best for you. Some of the examples are ears or neck or face or back of the neck or inner arms, inner thighs, feet, buttocks, etc. If you'd like to learn more about these different types of internal orgasms, make sure to check out my Orgasmic Empowerment online course for women. This is a powerful 7-week journey for any woman who would love to explore her full erotic potential and start experiencing a variety of different types of orgasm easily, all by herself or with a partner. Did you know that you could also combine or blend your orgasms? This can be a space for a lot of fun and exploration, and also sort of an area for creativity when it comes to your own playground of sexual experiences. Blended orgasms are achieved when two or more different erogenous zones are stimulated at the same time in the lead up to your climax. The resulting orgasm will then combine the characteristics of these different orgasmic areas, giving you a richer, more expanded sexual experience. The most common example of a blended orgasm happens when both the clitoris and the G-spot are stimulated at the same time. Okay, it's time to look at the topic of female orgasm during sex. That old chestnut. A lot of women I speak to report not being able to orgasm from penetration. What I observe here is a rich variety in experiences. Some women orgasm easily, others never orgasm, some orgasm sometimes, others work out a different combination of things that need to happen for them to orgasm. So if you want to bring your lady to a beautiful, expansive, satisfying sexual orgasmic experience, make sure to speak to her first to figure out and to find out what it is that she needs and what are the best ways to guide her to an orgasmic experience. But if she is unsure and doesn't know how to guide you, remember that every single woman has a very magical little button on her body, an organ created solely for pleasure, and that is her clitoris. The clitoral glands, which is the external part of the clitoral structure, contains about 8,000 nerve endings, which is much more than the entire head of the penis does. This makes clitoris extremely sensitive and gives it an incredible potential for pleasure. So take advantage of that knowledge and make sure to include the clitoris in your bedroom play. You can rub it with your fingers, with a toy, with your pubic bone if your position allows for that. And if you are a woman, don't be shy to ask your partner for the kind of stimulation of your clitoris that you will enjoy. And gentlemen, now we're getting to the very interesting point of this video, how to make her come. Every woman is different, and there's no one formula that will work for them all. But here are a few things to keep in mind if you really want to take her to an epic orgasm. Ask her what she likes. Ask her how she usually orgasms. Ask her what she needs from you, what kind of stimulation she likes. Maybe she'll even be open to showing you how she masturbates. Women need foreplay, period. There's no way around it. Her genital area needs to become engorged and lubricated so that penetration can be actually even pleasurable for her. So don't rush it. Learn to enjoy foreplay and you will feel like a king every time you take her to an amazing ecstatic experience. Most women need clitoral stimulation to orgasm. Others prefer the G-spot stimulation. Find out what works for your lady and make sure to include her special, magical areas when you touch her. Make sure to never put any pressure on her to orgasm. If she feels rushed by you, she will struggle to let herself go and the orgasm will keep eluding her. A lot of women report that using sex toys makes orgasming much easier for them. So don't let a dildo or a vibrator threaten your ego because they are not your competition. They are simply tools that you can use for increased pleasure and enjoyment. She absolutely needs to feel safe and relaxed in order to orgasm. If she is stressed or worried about something, like somebody knocking on the door, or pregnancy, or STIs, or anything else like that, she'll find it more challenging to orgasm. And finally, and this is a really big one, understand that it's not your responsibility to make her orgasm. Female orgasms belong to women and you cannot actually give her an orgasm. You can absolutely support her in having one, but it's ultimately up to her to actually reach that climax. And there can be things that can stand in her way that have nothing to do with you, like her sexual past, or any sort of inhibitions or shame or past trauma, or even her own ideas about her nudity and her naked body. Have you ever heard of the orgasm gap? Orgasm gap refers to the difference in numbers and frequency when it comes to male orgasm and female orgasms experienced during intercourse. According to a recent study, about 90% of men reach orgasm regularly during sex with their partners. This compares to only about 30% of women who can say the same. So what about all the women who have never orgasmed before? I have actually worked in my practice with quite a number of women who have never reached a climax, either during sex or during masturbation. So if that's your experience, don't worry, you're not alone, and help is available. Working with an experienced sex therapist like myself can be a wonderful way to discover and overcome any blocks or issues that stand in the way of your orgasmic ease and power. But if you're currently unable to employ the services of a professional, the next best thing is to enroll in my Orgasmic Empowerment course for women. This program was specifically designed for any woman who is ready to deepen, grow, and expand her erotic experiences. Because women are naturally orgasmic and can experience a rich variety of blissful orgasmic states, and it's never too late to start. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you got plenty of value from it. Maybe it even answered some questions for you. If it did, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Have you ever heard of the internal versus external orgasms? And which one of those have you been able to experience or lead your partner to? That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for watching and see you next week.